Hello and welcome to another video, and obviously I was always going to have to do Fire Emblem Awakening. I have brought this game up so many times that this has become the before bed game for me. I am on, obviously, the modded 3DS, so this isn't my save file, so I genuinely don't know what this continue is going to put me in. Oh, Chapter 12, that's actually kind of perfect, because I've already seen Chapter 12, so this isn't going to show me any spoilers, because I am up to Chapter 15 on my own thing, and this way it means that I can just mess around and go to an earlier mission. To be honest, I'm currently sitting here wondering, can I go to an earlier mission? No, it seems they just open shops now. Yeah, I didn't actually think about that, because I've never needed to grind on this game. So I guess I'll just go into the actual chapter. And I have no idea what units or anything I've got here, what things had been leveled up. Yeah, I'll just go with that. So, Fire Emblem is a series that I always wanted to get into, and for whatever reason, I just could not get fucking into it. I tried with Awakening. Awakening was actually the first one I really tried to get into. I played up to the point where you needed to be able to download the DLC, which was Chapter 5. And then I just kind of stopped, because I thought, well, I'll wait until all the DLC comes out. So I waited until all the DLC comes out, and then I started the game, and I'm like, I really should start this again, because I can't remember anything about what I did for the first 5 chapters. So I played through the 5 chapters again. And then I just stopped playing, again, for whatever reason, because it just wasn't clicking. So cut to 3 Houses coming out. And 3 Houses, it finally clicked. I loved it. I didn't really enjoy the whole creepy teacher-student part of it, so I didn't engage in that. I'm actually really, really fucking glad that that wasn't forced on you, that you could choose to not be the creep who dates your students. So I played through all of 3 Houses. Well, I played through all of one storyline of 3 Houses. I've never finished all of it, because I didn't think it was the sort of thing that I'd end up enjoying. I was one and done with it. But the seed was set, and eventually I'm going to go through the rest of 3 Houses, because I already know fine well, just from playing Awakening, this is the kind of game that at this moment in time, I don't know what it is. I'm wanting more and more and more of it, and the fact that I can play it handheld, which obviously I can with 3 Houses as well, I'm going to be getting into it so fucking deeper than I've ever been into this franchise before. I can already tell. And it's because finally all of it clicked. I think what the difference was, when I first started playing the game, I'd never really gotten into strategy games to begin with. I'd enjoyed Advance Wars, and that was about it. Oh, Tharja. I knew Tharja was a character in this game. I killed Tharja. So apparently you can get Tharja. Well, that's something to know for repeat playthroughs. Cool. I did wonder why everyone was, so many people were so, I guess, thirsty over Tharja, and I'm like, when I finally saw her in the game to do one mission and then for it to be done, I was like, okay. Were people really that into a character that's there for 5 minutes? So that actually makes sense. But anyway, total train of fucking thought later. What I think finally happened was, because I wasn't really into strategy games, I have an offensive mindset when it comes to any game. I always am the best defense is a good offense, because if everything that's trying to kill you is dead, then you win, you know? So I'd just rather kill everything before defending. So that turns out not to be the best way to play these sorts of games. And what I've ended up discovering, and I'm not doing it here because I am going for the just trying to move things on, what I ended up discovering is one of the best tactical moves that you can make in a Fire Emblem game is doing fuck all. I mean, on a technicality it's fuck all, and sometimes that does work. But you look at the start of the board, you see where everything is, you check out where they can attack up to, and you build a defense. You build an entire wall of defense. And for me, it's like Frederick the knight. I'm gonna struggle with the names, but I've got like my cavalry. I've got my giant defender. I've got my 3 beast riders. I've got all my spell users and range users, and then I've got a couple of like warlords with Chrom and Lucia. Sorry, Lucina. Lucia's a different character. So I think Lucia's actually a character from something I'm reading at this moment in time, which is why it popped into my head. So you've got all of my units are set up, and I just basically put my big beefy defense right in front. I put my range users a little farther back. I put my mounted flying units of death, they all fly off together on something, and I just set up a little brick wall and just sit and wait, and then all of the enemies come into my brick wall, and I deal more damage defending than being offensive. And as soon as that clicked for me, as soon as I realized that actually that's how I'm supposed to be playing this game, I do still have phases where I charge forward and I make sure to attack everything. If I was playing this properly, I'd be like trying to heal everything here. I wouldn't be going for getting my units killed, but at this moment in time I truly don't care. Firstly, this isn't my save file. Secondly, even if it was, I'd just reload. But I'd set it up meticulously, crafting, so I'm like, okay, this is where I've got all of these units, and this is where their beefy units are going to come in, this is where their ranged units are going to come in. I make sure I set it up so that it's the worst possible matchup type for them, and they're forced to confront me on bad terms. And it's so funny when you've got all of your units grouped together and a combat starts, and it's like, oh, you've got an S rank pairing with this unit, and you get plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. And then you start looking at the stat at the bottom, and it's like, the enemy has a 40% chance to deal 3 damage to you. You have a 100% chance to deal 27. And it's just, they throw themselves, and it becomes like lemmings throwing themselves off a cliff. It really does, because they will just throw themselves into you, and they'll just go dead, dead, dead. And it can be so thrilling as well to watch it when you've set it up perfectly, because it's amazing to have all of your units standing together, and an enemy comes in and suddenly Frederick jumps in front and takes the block, so it deals no damage, and then suddenly that's pissed off my main unit, which I've called my main unit Sky, and Sky fires a volley of fucking lightning, and it's a case of, how dare you try to attack me? How, like, you are so beneath me. It's unbelievable. How dare you even attempt to attack me? It's so fucking thrilling. It gives you such an adrenaline rush that I never expected I'd get from a strategy game. And suddenly, it's not just Fire Emblem's clicked with me. Because of Awakening, I think strategy games as a whole have clicked with me. I've never really sat down and finished a game in this genre. I never finished Advance Wars. I got all the way up to the final mission, and I was throwing my head into where I couldn't figure out how to beat it. I kind of dropped off that series. I never finished Final Fantasy Tactics. At some point I'll have to play that. I'm trying to actually go through the ones that I've owned. Disgaea, I tried that for a while. I could never get into it. It's just whatever it was, I couldn't vibe with strategy games. And now that it's finally clicked, there's so many that I've got to play that it's a case of, oh, my backlog just got hundreds upon thousands of hours deeper. But I think I'm going to finish Awakening. I'm going to wait until the new Three Houses sequel type thing, which obviously is kind of a sequel and maybe a prequel, and we don't really know what's going on because we've seen Byleth is, I think, what the main character was called in that. Again, obviously, I know you can, they're supposed to be you, and I think you can change their name, but Byleth is, I think, the main character. Same as how Robin was the character in Fate, maybe? But anyway, I'm most of my knowledge comes from fucking Smash Brothers, like a lot of people with this franchise. So those are the characters that I tend to kind of remember. I mean, I knew Crumb was in this, I knew Lucina was in this, I knew Marth is a character. I don't think Marth is in this, though. There's obviously a lot of story that I'm not aware of at this moment in time, but the fact that Lucina pretends to be Marth, like, there's a whole thing anyway. So a lot of my knowledge came from Smash Brothers, so the fact that I can now actually get into this franchise and get into the genre as a whole, I'm really, really enjoying it. And I'm just glad it's finally clicked, because there was something always about this. I knew this would be my sort of thing, and it's because of Lord of the Rings. That's the only one at this moment in time that I can genuinely think of. There's probably others that I'm blanking on, but Lord of the Rings had a tactics game on the PlayStation Portable, and the PSP Lord of the Rings game. Even then, I only finished the villain campaign, I think. I don't think I got around to finishing the hero campaign because I was finding it so repetitive. And I think that's what this tactic that I've been doing with Fire Emblems, making it less repetitive, because this is kind of the perfect game to put on while you're second screening. Because once you've set up your units like that, and you end your turn, I can just sit and let it all play through. And I know fine well I'm not going to lose any units. I can just leave it, holding it up beside me, focusing on what I'm actually watching on YouTube or watching on whatever I've got on, be it a movie, a TV show, or something in the background. And if the worst does happen, if a fuck-up happens and I lose a unit, then so be it. I just reload the save or something because I'm trying to go deathless and I don't care about saves coming. At the end of the day, I'm playing this for fun and relaxation. But the chances of me losing a unit tend to be getting slimmer and slimmer, and I feel like I've over-leveled, and it's not so much that I've over-leveled, because I'm actually trying to avoid doing any of the extra combats. I'm doing all the side stories, but all the time that it brings up the extra combats, I'm intentionally not doing them, because I don't want to over-level than I already have done. I think it's just that my tactics have gotten to the point where I'm so solid with it, with what I've set my units up and how I do this, that it doesn't matter that what level my units are, because one-on-one, there'll still be a couple of fights where they can body me if I don't play perfectly, if I don't set it up perfectly, but as long as I set it up with all of my units, like, helping each other, buffing each other, so you're getting all these stats, it's like they can't touch me. So I'm trying already not to overlevel. I'm trying not to go for the best weapons in the game either. I'm trying not to use those. I'm trying just to use the basic stuff to at least challenge, like, to at least adapt the difficulty down a little bit, so I'm not just sleepwalking through it. But at the same time, again, that makes it a perfect second screen game, and the fact that I can just pause whatever I'm watching when I need to focus on the story of this, and I'm really getting into it, yeah. But yeah, I think that video is coming to an end then, and I don't know how many more of the 3DS videos I'm going to be making relatively soon. At this moment in time, I'm not lying when I say it's what I'm spending most of my time doing. I truly have fallen back in love with this, and I know I'm repeating myself when I say that a lot of times, but I'm completely smitten with my old systems. Even though one of these wasn't obviously mine, I've been through all that as well. So yeah, until next time, I've been Sky Fellowship. I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day, and yeah, I don't know what Fire Emblem I'm moving on to after the new one, which I'm hoping comes out. I'll probably go for the Fate's Birthright thing, because that's the one that interested me the most, with the theme, the setting and everything, and the fact that it had 3 campaigns, which funnily enough I then wanted with 3 houses, but then only played one of them, and I know 3 houses technically has a 4th. But yeah, all of that waffle to say. Until next time, bye!